It is to move one's feet or body, or both, rhythmically in a pattern of steps, especially to the accompaniment of music. I don't know about you, but this doesn't help much. Today I'm up here to inform you that dancing has a deeper meaning than just movement to sound, because for others and myself, it has. Since the beginning of time, people have used dance as a way of expressing themselves. Around the world, many people of different cultures have come up with different styles. This includes from salsa dancing in the Caribbean to breakdancing here in the U.S. Many people use different styles of dancing to express themselves on different subjects of life. Some do it to conform, but there are those who give a great passion towards it. In the documentary Rise, it follows an interview schedule of two relating dance subcultures of Los Angeles, clowning and crumping. Crumping, according to Wikipedia.com, is an urban street dance form characterized by free, expressive, and highly energetic moves involving the arms, head, leg, chest, and feet. But after watching this documentary, clowning, however, is very similar, only, you wear clown getup, and it promotes more peace among the community. Another style of dance popularized by the rock band was moshing. Again, according to Wikipedia.org, moshing or slamming refers to the activity in which audience members at live musical performances aggressively push or slam into each other. But when I interviewed some self-proclaimed rockers, one responded, "Moshing is more than just dancing, yes. It's like you give yourself into the heavy beats of the music and let loose, taking your anger out and letting people know how you feel." An additional form of dance that also originated here in the U.S., and one of my favorites, is disco dancing. Coming up from simple dance moves like the sprinkler, to the Q-tip, to the lawnmower, is a classic form of dance where you look like a fool doing it, but good in all nature. Plus, you can't look bad doing it, so that's my favorite. Tradition plays an important part in our lives, and therefore it has to affect us today. That's why almost all of us went to waltz at one point of our lives, because, let's face it, we're going to run into a situation where it's inevitable. Weddings, quinceañeras, debuts, etc. Some dances and tradition vary in culture. For an upbringing as a Cuban, I learned how to dance salsa and mambo before I could even walk. At 8 years old, I started waking up every day at 9 to the sound of salsa flowing throughout my house. As soon as I hit the dance, I was picked up by a family member and we just started dancing for hours on end. Each different culture has different styles of dance and lets the people know the rich tradition. Dancing from all over the world plays an important factor in our social lives too. At times, people try to attract someone they like, at times, people try to attract someone they like and may try to perform well on the dance floor. They do this in order to get a chance to impress the person of their liking in hopes of getting to know them better. Though it does not always succeed, it does not always fail either. A couple weeks back, I was at a quinceañera with my friend Jose. I was sitting down at the table and he said, "Joe, I like that girl over there." I go, "Well, why don't you go dance to impress her?" He said, "You know I can't dance." I go, "You just gotta do what you gotta do sometimes." He went out there and started dancing. 2 songs later, he came back. He goes, "Joe, she's not noticing me." I go, "Because you gotta try harder, do something harder." He starts breakdancing and falls on his face. The girl starts to laugh at him and walks away. But at that moment, some other girl came over to him and started talking to him. So it did not all fail. Today I have informed you on dance and how it's more than movement to sound. It's different styles, meanings, and purpose. But you see, I have barely scratched the surface of this never-ending subject. Because dancing is like time. It stops for no one. It continues to grow and change. So I leave you with this. When you're on the wall thinking, should I go out there? The answer is plain and simple. Yes.
So, Steve-O, what did you think?
I thought it was great. I loved his visual. I was hoping to see a couple of dance moves come out, but It ended a little short. He caught my attention. It made me want to, I wanted him to keep going. That's how much he caught my attention. I thought it was great. He was loud, kept me up, made me laugh, which is good during the presentation. Overall, he did a good job.
All right. What did you think of the visuals?
Oh, amazing. I wish it was a video of me, but what can you do?
All right, Jojo, I like the topic, and your attention device is kind of fun. It goes on a while, but I think you cut it off at a pretty good point. And then it's very clear what your topic is. You've got a nice definition that you start with. And then you kind of challenge the notion that this definition is enough of an explanation. So I like that idea too. I think that you need a little bit more structure for the content. Basically, you're kind of just going through different styles of dancing and making a comment on each one. And I was thinking, at one point you made some suggestion about how dance is used for different reasons and purposes. Well, those ought to be the things that structure the speech, and then maybe you could talk about how the different styles of dance satisfy those needs or purposes as you're going through it, and that, I think, would have given it a little bit more cohesiveness rather than just kind of a string of incidents. The personal examples and experiences, I think, are the things that work best in creating interest in the speech. You're talking to us based on something that happened to you. You got a story to talk about your friend. It does seem a little awkward sometimes that you have to look down at your notes to tell us the story, but that's probably just something that would come with a little more practice and confidence on those points. I think, for instance, Steve thought maybe some if you'd shown us those moves, they would have been a little bit more fun. I don't know. I'm imagining what the lawnmower and the water sprinkler and all those kinds of things look like. And that seems to me like something that might have lent itself pretty easily to a visual, either another clip, for instance, or just a picture or a diagram that gives us some impression of those kinds of things. And then again, connect it to like the rituals or those sorts of things. You mentioned a waltz that you're going to have to use at ceremonial occasions, a quinceanera or a wedding or something like that. Why is that something that, why is that the dance that is appropriate in those kinds of occasions as opposed to going to some club and asking some girl to waltz with you? Why don't you do those kinds of things? Or why do you go through, a particular kind of ritual? I did like the distinguishing types of dance that you had. That was, like I said, mostly what your structure was. But because there were so many different ones, it just sort of seemed like a string of, and then there's this, and then there's this, and then there's this. Excuse me. Early on, there's some source citation of material, a little more dependent on Wikipedia than I prefer. I think you could probably go a little bit deeper for some information, but at least you attempted to provide some background that gives some substance to it. I think you need some visuals in other parts of the speech, like I said. As an attention device, it's okay, but I don't think it's completely satisfying. And at the end, it just seemed a little bit like you ran out of steam and finished without really kind of planning how you were going to be finished with the presentation. All right, thank you.